Hello and welcome to this tutorial on databases. In this video what we'll be doing is just looking at some key terms related to databases, understanding what those mean, and then we're going to be looking at this example database here of our cafe. What we'll be doing is looking at why this database doesn't work appropriately, and kind of starting to think about how we might restructure this database so that it does work well. So first of all, we know from our previous video that a database is essentially a collection of data, and that data is stored in tables. So let's actually think about what data is first. So data is like a little piece of information that tells us something. By itself, data has no meaning because it has no context, but taken together with other things, data begins to have some meaning that we can interpret. And so here, where I see a little cell that has $2 in it, that is a piece of data. That's one piece of data that's stored in a database. When it's given the context of the things around it, like long black, we start to see that perhaps a long black costs $2. When it's given some more context with the name of a person, we start to see that perhaps the person ordered a long black for $2. Oh. So I think that covers data. We can say that we have defined data. So let's move on to table. And this is a very easy term to define. A table is simply a collection of data, and so this whole area here, all of this data that's in one location, essentially is just one table. Now our database might have several tables. A very complex database might have hundreds of tables. To begin with, we'll look at databases that have just sort of 2 or 3 tables. And these tables can be linked together. They can be like, I guess, pieces of data in one table that tell us information about how to retrieve pieces of data from other tables. So that's a table. Now a field. What is a field? We can think of a field in a database as similar to being like a column in a table. So a field is, think about when you fill in a form on a website and it says the password field cannot be left blank, or you must include something in the phone number field. So here, this might be the first and last name field. This might be the person's name. And so this field might be person or person name. So think of a field like a column. It describes, it contains information about one particular thing, like about name or about price. Right, that's a field. Now finally let's talk about a record. A record in the database is just like one entry into the database. So for instance here we've got Ellie Fitzgerald, who wants a water for $4 and also wants a Fanta for $1. So this is her order at our cafe. So this is one record in this database. This is Ellie Fitzgerald's record. Information about what she's ordering from the cafe. So a record is kind of like a row in a table. So if you remember that a field is like a column and a record is like a row, that should help you when thinking about databases. Now I mentioned also that we'd look at some of the problems in this database. So I'm sure you may have already spotted there are a few what we call anomalies, things that aren't quite right in the database. For instance, here we've got $4 represented as $4.00, and here we've got $4 represented as just $4. Why the difference, and what does it mean? Well, we shouldn't really have any differences in our database between types of data like that, so that is a problem. We will look at how to fix that soon. Some other problems in our database? Well, Fanta is spelt with a capital letter, so is long black, flat white, OJ, another long black, OJ. But Coke spelt with a lowercase c. Same there, and water here is spelt with a lowercase w, as it is here. So those things aren't quite consistent, so we need to get those things fixed. Also, Long Black is spelt incorrectly here. You'll see it's spelt B-L-A-C-K here, whereas here it's spelt B-A-L-C-K. And also, Long Black costs $2 here, yet here it costs $3. Why does Mike Hoppy have to pay more for his Long Black than Bob Jones? And speaking of Bob Jones, why does he have 3 B's in his first name? These are all aspects of our database that are bringing it down, I guess, in terms of quality. So we need to look at ways of fixing these. And indeed, part of the project that you will be doing in class, you will have to apply data integrity and testing procedures to make sure that all the data in your database is accurate. So I think we'll leave it here for the moment, and we'll wait till we get to our next video before we actually start doing something about this messy database.